another massive domain to consider when we're talking about social impact. And recently, as we discussed, a social stock exchange has been conceptualized, and it is about to go live. So, what are your thoughts on social stock exchange in terms of hosting some of these companies and projects on the stock exchange as a mechanism to create the impact and then measure and monitor the impact? What are your thoughts on that? And are there any parallels in the US? Do you have any comparative perspective or any other comments you have on social stock exchange?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of questions there, so a couple of different answers. One, in terms of the exchange, I think it's a very interesting experiment and idea. I'm a big fan of capitalism and a big fan of capital markets. I'm not sure if it was said. I think you did say it, of course, in the intro, that I worked for 20 plus years at Goldman Sachs and found myself explaining to many candidates interviewing for jobs about the satisfaction I had in supporting capital markets, and so the role of markets in helping to price and fund, or maybe first fund and then price, initiatives, I think is huge. And as an operations professional, not only do I think we need markets, we need efficient, well-controlled markets so that they can scale. That's what I tried to do as an operations leader at Goldman Sachs. So the idea of trying to bring markets and exchanges to the formation of financial capital for social projects or to promote social capital, I think is a great one. I would think first and foremost it helps with discovery of just, to the extent the platform is successful, just allowing those who want to find a project to invest in, find the project, and vice versa, someone with a project to find somebody who wants to fund a project. That's the idea of being a market maker, and I think is probably the biggest contribution. In terms of pricing, providing liquidity, I guess, is kind of, those are things I'm not sure I have a full handle on, but I think would be areas to explore. With how the marketplace works, how the exchange works. The only other thought I have related to it is that I don't think it's enough, though, right? I don't think that's all one can do is create a market and an index or an exchange and an index fund. I think there is the actual creation of social impact, of social capital, rather, the creation of social capital, which goes back to my earlier comments. I mean, it is in the actual doing, in the doing of the good works that I think social capital is created. And I think that's true for the society overall, who's the beneficiary from those projects, but also for the individual who's engaged in those. And I don't want to get too philosophical here, but I do think with markets and indexes and even some forms of capitalism, we get too involved in the measurement and in the facilitation, and not so much the doing. Even accounting, we can get too, or in the measuring of educational outcomes, we can get too caught up in how do we manage the measurement? How do we manage to the measure, as opposed to, say, in the case of education, actually educating, say in the case of accounting, actually running a successful business, and in the case of social capital, actually doing good. And so I just hope those who support the platform also, keep an eye on what good is being done, and are people engaging, and are people feeling more connected, and so forth. I think that would be the real home run.
So what you're saying is impact is extremely important. Yeah, measurement and accountability is important, but we shouldn't be too caught up with the mechanics of measurement and reporting and accountability, and we should keep that impact as a prime focus, and make sure that if the society is getting better, those who need help are actually being helped, and then
Yes.
measurement, reporting, etc. will happen. And I
Yes.
think that's a very, very significant message, and And I do kind of agree with you when we talk of social stock exchange and all the regulatory frameworks that are envisaged with any stock exchange, whether it's social or otherwise. I think we do get bogged down with some of those mechanics, and that's a great message, David. I think that's something that Equip social impact technology should keep in mind as well. And as I know, Equip is doing a great job in terms of being a platform hosting those projects where social impact can be created, right? And they're identifying opportunities. They're kind of getting companies, getting government organizations, charity foundations, and other institutions, and even individuals to be able to channelize where the investment should go, and create that consequential impact that you're talking about.